All right, welcome everybody. This is Marvel Madness Comics Podcast, episode number 43. I am Brandon, as always, joined by my man Trevitt. Trevitt, what's up?
Starving. How you doing?
Starving, yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm anxious to watch a little Punisher tonight. I work on the cover letter for promotion. We'll see what happens there, but yeah, I hate writing cover letters, so I need to have something at least distracting me from every sentence I write while it's going on. So here we are. We're about to run down what we do for you guys. We run through our mission statement, tell you what we're all about. If you're a newbie, we go over how to contact us. If we get any emails, we'll discuss those. Trevor's got a little news section. We'll talk about probably some new books coming out in the future. Then we got our book section tonight, split up in two parts. The first part's only going to be one section or a one book section, and the second part will have two for you. Squeezed in between is the Midpoint Marvelous Facts. Before we wrap things up with a quick sign-out segment, we haven't had one of those in a while. But yeah, we got to start at the beginning here, which is our mission statement. We're here this and every week to fulfill our mission for you guys, providing the ins and outs of the Marvel comic book universe. In between talking books, we chit-chat about some of Marvel's latest news, possible rumors, titles, characters, fun facts, all that falls under the general going-ons of Earth Prime's umbrella. Try to cover a variety of titles for you guys each and every month in an effort to avoid any repetitiveness and an attempt to keep things fresh and informative for you guys, the listeners. We got a 3-book lineup for you tonight. It is event-free, probably for the first time in a while. So a nice relaxing week as far as reading went for us. But yeah, book one was, well, for Trevitt anyway, possibly. I had to catch up on Spectacular Spider-Man, but to get up to number 300, which will be book one tonight, All New Wolverine, which is what, 31? I forgot to look it up. 31.
Yep.
A one-shot with Gabby and Deadpool mostly. And then we got the final book of the night, Thanos, number 16, which we're going to get into. The Origins of the Cosmic Ghost Rider. So all titles we cover are rated honestly and based on our own opinions on our made-up scale, which is buy, borrow, or forget it altogether. To sum that quick little snazzy little rhyme up, buy means buy it now. Borrow means get the code, the digital code in those books from a buddy. Forget it altogether means don't drop a dime on the book. If you're possibly interested, not that I endorse stealing them from the internet, but yeah, go ahead and steal that one from the internet because you don't want to spend money on it. That's what we're getting at there. If you're interested in getting hold of us, guys, there's a couple ways to do that. You can share any thoughts about the books you have, your opinions on some opinions we've shared, any suggestions you have for the show. You want to hear somebody in the Midpoint Facts we haven't spotlighted yet, or you want to hear a book we haven't talked about, you can get a hold of us one of two ways. First way is on Twitter at Marvel Madness. Our DMs are open. We get a lot of nonsense there, but we're hoping for something real one day. Shout out to that one dude who does share the cool pictures. You can keep those coming. We don't really get much worth there, but we're on our drive to 1,000 followers, so give us a follow. If you have not already, we're at, 920, something like that, I think, last I checked.
Somewhere around there.
If you're looking to get a hold of us kind of an more old-fashioned way, you can hit us up at the Gmail account, and that is at marvelmadness0@gmail.com. A lot of times, sometimes we got some Marvel Monday reviews up on Weird Science, DCcomics.com, the website, the review website. Shout out to Jim and Eric. It's been a little spotty lately. It's partially my fault because I have been in the process of moving, haven't had much time to sit down and write about books lately, but once I get this house together, that'll pick back up. So shoot over there, give them a look every once in a while. You'll get some good reviews. But now that all that basic bit stuff is covered and out of the way, we're going to get into things this week here and start it off as we always do with Trevitt's news section right after this catchy little jingle. 1, 2.
All right. Welcome to the news. I got some good stuff this week. More of pretty much what I had last week. So last week we got a ton of new fresh start creative team announcements, and it keeps looking more and more interesting. So first up, we got something that we have heard rumors about for a very long time, and it's finally happening. This July 4th, Ta-Nehisi Coates is taking over Captain America with Leinil Francis Yu on art. Pretty excited for that one. Excuse me. I don't know what this run could look like. Like say for instance, his Black Panther run was like very he was kind of world building about Wakanda and the political systems and how everything works there. But now it's more focused on like a tradition. It's more like a traditional comic book and more focused on action. So I'm curious to see what he's going to do with Captain America now that he's used to writing comic books, because I think Black Panther was the first comic book he ever wrote. So
yeah, it was his first foray into the comic book world.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see what he was doing in Cap. And this is the first time someone who's not white is writing a Captain America book. So
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's a milestone. So next is also something that was rumored for a very long time, and that's Nick Spencer on Amazing Spider-Man. Also a big surprise is Ryan Ottley doing the art after completing a very long run on Robert Kirkman's Invincible over at Image. Now, as much as I know, a bunch of people are probably groaning about Nick Spencer. I think he might end up being a pretty decent fit for the title. I think he's definitely got the chops with books like Ant-Man, Superior Foes, and indie stuff like The Fix and Morning Glories. He's definitely got the chops. He left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth with his cap runs and Secret Empire. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I think this could be something that finally is for him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the character of Peter Parker plays to Nick Spencer's writing strengths, whereas like Captain America kind of doesn't, Yeah. So
yeah, we'll see. I wasn't thrilled with the announcement, but I mean, I'm not going to drop Spider-Man, so I'm going to keep reading it and buying it, and trying to rethink how I buy comics now. I got storage issues coming up here I'm trying to solve, but yeah, I mean, it's still something I'm going to read. I'm ready for a new voice at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
I like it, even though it's not who I would have picked. I'm excited for just a different team on the main book as it is.
Be very refreshing.
Yeah,
I feel you with the storage problems. I got storage problems. I get books everywhere.
Yeah, I have a minor solution, but it holds no short boxes or long boxes. So my solution is I'm keeping my trades that go in there, and I'm keeping select like series runs that I have that are complete, and I'm going to try to bind them together and try this out and see how that looks.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, with a series or two and go from there. And it's touch and feel right now. Otherwise, I'm going to start hawking them off on eBay and buying trades with the money I make back, I
was thinking about getting like a 5x10 climate controlled storage unit to store them in or something, just stack up long boxes.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Take a trip there once a month and sort them,
sort of. Maybe a
couple cigarettes.
Too crazy in the house. Yeah. Go in there, sit down, they got light, read a comic, get a chair in there or something. I used to be a manager of self-storage place, and there were people who would buy like 20x20 or like 10x10 climate control spaces, and they would treat them as like apartments. So they live there because there's 24-hour access.
Got to roll through there to make sure nobody's living there. And even in the ones by us, I know that's the thing. So
yeah, it's crazy, especially the climate control ones, because it's humidity controlled, heat controlled, and air conditioned in the summer. So, and it's all inside. So like you might see the car outside, but you'd never know that someone's in there. But cheap rent right there. So next up, we have Doctor Strange by Mark Waid and Jesus Saiz. So you might not know Saiz, but more recently he did Captain America number 25, and he did the beginning of that run in general. Or you might know him from Checkmate by Greg Rucka or Swamp Thing by Charles Soule. This is definitely something different for Mark Waid. I have a little quote. He said, I've been a Strange fan forever, but I've never been lucky enough to write an extended run featuring the Good Doctor. and the story goes like this. In this new, fresh story, Doctor Strange will lose his connection to Earth's magic. I'm kind of sick of that happening. And travel to right. Like,
I feel like he's been dealing with that forever, and then it minorly gets solved, and then it happens all over again.
And then it happens all over again. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It says he's going to travel to space to find a new power source, and along the way, he'll enlist Tony Stark for help. Which, you know, whatever. I mean, the Jesus Says art alone is going to bring me to check it out. But who knows? Could be good, could be bad. Mark Waid usually goes one way or the other. Either it's good or it's just mediocre. So we'll see how that goes. I'm just so sick of nerfing Doctor Strange because he's one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel universe, and that's what Jason Aaron did to make him like interesting and have a struggle. He took his magic away, but like it's not something like knocking Professor X out and immobilizing him at the beginning of an X-Men movie or a storyline because you just want to take the most powerful character out of the game. Like nobody wants to see Superman depowered anymore. Doctor Strange loses magic. Wolverine loses adamantium. Nobody wants to see that shit. You know what I mean? It's stupid. But anyway.
Yeah, it's like reading a book where it's solely you're just dealing with Peter Parker and you don't get any Spider-Man. It's like, I mean, that's I don't know. I mean, I love Peter Parker, but I don't want to read that, you
know. Someone who's truly creative would make a great story out of what they have. Like you don't have to like nerf a character or chop an arm off to make him more interesting. But you know, I guess some people just need the extra help. But finally, last but not least, for ongoing fresh starts, I do have 2 miniseries to talk about. But for ongoing fresh starts, last but not least, we have Iron Man by Dan Slott, and they finally announced an artist, and it's Valerio Schiti, who is currently doing some fill-in issues for Jim Chung on Marvel 2-in-1. He's done Guardians of the Galaxy work. He's worked on Hickman's New Avengers and all that good stuff. Really good artist. I wasn't too crazy about the last issue of Marvel 2-in-1 art-wise. I thought it felt a little bit rushed. But normally, he's really on point, very detailed. Does some great work. I'm pretty excited for this one because Slott calls it somewhere between Rick and Morty and Black Mirror, which just sounds fucking awesome. I'm like, Rick and Morty and Black Mirror. I'm like, I can't even imagine what that run's gonna be like. And
Dan Slott watches a lot of TV. Someone get that man a girlfriend. Jesus Christ. I know, right? Those are Rick and Morty and Black Mirror. I guess I can see how that's kind of the same genre. You know what I'm saying? Like every Rick and Morty episode is very Black Mirror-ish, I guess you could say, but
so it's gonna have the comedy and then the craziness.
In
an article, he said that he plans to throw everything in the kitchen sink into the new Iron Man series, including hundreds of armors. That's something I can't wait to see because Valerio Schiti even says, like, I'm having a ball designing all these different armors and shit. And I'm like, that's what I love. Like, I'm gonna love that. Like, maybe like a new Iron Legion.
It's been like armors all over the place and shit like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a new, fresh voice on Iron Man that's not fucking Bendis. So yes, let's do this. Also on the run, Slott says everything counts. We're going to play fair with all that's happened to Tony from the very beginning all the way through the most current runs. If you're a longtime Marvel fan, I want you to know all the continuity counts. The legacy counts. But if you're one of the billions of people on this earth who only knows Iron Man from the movies, you can jump on right here for a fresh start and not have to worry about the previous continuity. So it's good for it's kind of like a Valiant book, you know. It'll everything counts, but it's fresh, so you don't have to read the before if you want to enjoy the after. So now we have 2 limited series for the fresh start launch that were announced. Also, first up, we have Captain Marvel by Margaret Stohl and Carlos Pacheco, which sounds okay. I mean, I love Carlos Pacheco, but Stoll's dialogue is something to be desired. On the book, Stoll had this to say: Carol Danvers was just a girl from Boston suburbs who loved science and the Red Sox until a chance encounter with a Kree hero gave her incredible superpowers. Now she's a leader in the Avengers and the commander of Alpha Flight. But what if there's more to the story? Her crippling anxiety attacks put her on the sidelines in the middle of her flight. Carol finds herself reliving memories of a life she thought was far behind her. You can't outrun where you come from, and sometimes you have to go home again. But there are skeletons in Captain Marvel's closet, and what she discovers will change her entire world. This is the true origin of Captain Marvel. So I guess it's 6-issue limited series, and I guess it's going to be like kind of like a new origin for Captain Marvel. Maybe they'll make her likable in this one. So
yeah, right.
maybe we have that to look forward to. Second, for the Fresh Start minis, we have, and this one I'm actually excited about, especially for the artist, a new Ant-Man and the Wasp series starring Scott Lang and Nadia Pym, written by Mark Waid and penciled by Javier Garrin from Secret Warriors, Death of X, IVX, and whatnot. Waid had this to say: "Everyone at Marvel knows I'm obsessed with two things, the microverse and Cyclops. So when editor Jordan D. White wanted to do an Ant-Man and the Wasp series, he knew to call me or else there'd be hell to pay." So he sounds excited, and that's a good sound. I mean, that's a good sign. So I can't wait to see that, especially for Javier Garrin's art, because everything he does I love, especially what he did on Secret Warriors. The art was great, detailed. I never have a single complaint about what he's got. And David Curiel, Israel Silva usually does his colors, so I hope he comes along for the ride, because if you know, colorists are the unsung heroes of pencilists. So like, if pencilers, because you could have a great penciler, but if they have a shitty colorist, it's going to look like shit. It's going to be, It's going to look like a shit with a bow on it. But so if you get a good colorist, you're in like Flynn. And that's it for the news.
All right. Well, we are going to send you guys off to book section number 1. It's a single book section. Remember, you're not experiencing technical difficulties. Little editing, little editing thing, so it's easier on me this week. That's all. And then we will be right back. All right. So let me stop that.
This is new